Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our Paws On Animation channel and our podcast.
And today we are actually covering the original Dragon Ball anime.
And we've read the entire run of the original Dragon Ball manga. We're currently finishing up Super. We finished Z. And finally we got to the anime adaptation. And it's no surprise that it is awesome.
Yeah.
But
before we say, be sure to like, subscribe, notifications for some future podcasts and all the pause videos.
And thank you so much for subscribing to us today, sharing our videos, commenting everything you do. As always, we appreciate you so much. And a special shout out to Mega TriStar.
Yay!
As today is her birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Have a great day. So, Dragon Ball. You guys have seen our review on the manga itself.
Yes.
And we were expecting this to be a little different than it actually was.
Yeah.
We learned there was a lot of filler in this series.
Yes. So they didn't just do the manga, they added some extra things to help spread it out.
Including at the end.
Right.
The last 4 episodes.
And we've been learning that a lot of animes did used to do this decades ago. Not only did it help to expand the run and add things you didn't get to see originally reading it, but it also added more fun and character growth within. Like, you got to see focus on other characters and not just Goku. So that's something we learned.
Yes. Now, for those of you not familiar with Dragon Ball anime TV series, it was produced by Toei Animation, and as you mentioned, it had 153 episodes from February 26th of 1986 to April 19th of 1989, running on Fuji TV. We watched it on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
We think it's an exclusive because we haven't seen it anywhere else.
Yeah.
And even on Hulu, what they had was not dubbed.
Yes.
So it was an adaptation of the first 194 chapters of the manga series by Akira Toriyama Sensei, and was originally published in Weekly Shonen Jump from 1984 to 1995. So we're not sure if when this anime was being made, had it caught up to the manga, and if not, is that why there were so many anime only or filler episodes?
Right. Or was it some things that the manga just didn't have? Maybe Toriyama or others wanted to put in, and they decided, oh, we'll put it in this anime version instead.
True. So it's categorized as adventure, fantasy, comedy, and martial arts. And we have to say we really absolutely enjoyed it. Had 2 directors, 3 producers, and the writing for the anime was actually done by Toshiki Inui and Takao Koyama, based on Toriyama's work.
Yes. Which was a little surprising. So at least he was involved in a way with it. Because if not, it wouldn't have been as legendary as it is now. And we are aware that there are, of course, sequel series like Dragon Ball Z and Super and the alternate, I'll say the AU series GT. But we're taking our time with this and going through each series, just like we did with Pokemon. There's not like 1,000 seasons to watch, but there's certainly still a lot of episodes.
Right. And what's interesting is that when it first ran in the U.S. in 1995, it failed. It had mediocre ratings.
Really?
But in 2000, when Animax, along with Brutus, a men's lifestyle magazine, and Tatsuda, Japan's largest retail chain, conducted a poll among 200,000 fans, it actually in 2005 was rated the top 100 anime. So I guess it took the U.S. a while to get used to it.
And that's what we have been hearing for that particular time, anime. It just wasn't, it was long before it was mainstream, and it was something only really few people watched and were into. And then with these channels and stations opening up and airing more, it found its audience, and it's been growing since. Because they give a lot of credit to this, or Cowboy Bebop, or you want to go really far back, Speed Racer, or Akira or something, as a lot of these animes are considered either gateway animes for a lot of people when they first see it, or it's what helped get people into it because they enjoyed it so much and wanted to find more like it.
And in case you're wondering, ours was the irregular at Magic High School.
Yes. Yes, odd choice, I know.
Yeah. So there were some films that were released based on this particular portion of the manga, including Curse of the Blood Rubies in 86, Sleeping Princess in Devil's Castle in 87, and Mystical Adventure in 88. And what we learned is that all except the last 3 movies, none of them were dubbed.
Yeah, and we thought maybe it was just on here they didn't have it on Crunchyroll, but no, that's just how it is. Either they decided it wasn't worth the time to dub it, or they didn't want to pay, or they just feel like, oh, we don't need to. They look like they didn't start doing it until it got big enough decades later to start putting the voice actors that people know here into the films, especially with only a few of them being canon.
So maybe we'll get lucky, like we have with Detective Conan recently, where Netflix is doing the dub. And we started watching and absolutely love it. He's so cute. And we're loving it. The only drawback for this particular dub is that they seem to be covering one particular arc. But since these are movies that they didn't dub for Dragon Ball, hopefully one day they'll go ahead and go back and actually dub the movies so that we can see them in English. That would be great.
Right.
Because in some of the movies there's a lot going on, and it's kind of difficult to keep up with the subtitles and the action is going on. Right.
Yeah. We know people have pretty much watched anime all in subs and are kind of used to it, but sometimes we like watching in sub, and sometimes, most of the time, we like watching in dub, so it just depends.
Right. So there were several arcs covered in this anime. The Emperor Pilaf saga is the first one that was covered.
Yes. And that one, now in comparison to all the stuff they end up having later and how much this story escalates, that was probably the tamest one. And considering you had him and then Red Ribbon already later, this guy's team was like the Team Rocket of Dragon Ball, because they were just like, oh, they're sort of a threat. Like when he runs into them, it's just like they're kind of defeated in like maybe a few minutes. All that talk and everything, and then he just destroys whatever they got, and then he's gone and gets the Dragon Ball. And they just kind of end up being background or serving a bigger antagonist throughout the series, which is actually really funny. They're literally just Team Rocket.
It was fun watching because we hadn't read this too long ago, and we got to see animated the craziness between Goku and Bulma, and all his little antics because he was little Pat, and seeing just the personality he has as an adult is exactly how his personality was as a kid.
Yes.
And by making friends with Bulma, and he made friends with Chi-Chi, later Master Roshi, and Yamcha and Krillin, who they changed for the anime, the name. And he grew. Yeah. And he learned things that he didn't know because he had been living by himself. Right. Since grandfather died. Right. And so they helped him to become more, I guess, modern, and to know what goes on in the world, not just where he lives. So that was interesting, and it was fun. But it was in here that he met Chi-Chi, and he didn't know what he was agreeing to, and he agreed to marry her.
Right. And what's funny is, as you said, he really is clueless about everything. And it's not that he's stupid, it's just he genuinely doesn't know. And he doesn't take offense, everyone else does. And they're like, oh, you're serious, you don't know. Like the thing, one of the biggest running jokes in the beginning you mentioned is that he doesn't know the difference between a boy and a girl. He just assumes that they all have tails, they all look like him or something. It's, well, how do you know? Well, they got something in the lower area, and that's the difference between boys have it, girls don't. He said, okay, well, and he said, well, how's he gonna know? And then he talks to somebody, and he can't tell. He walks over to them and goes, pat, pat. And, oh, you're a girl. And then Bulma yells, what is wrong with you?
And she's a teen at the same time. You don't know when you first see her. She kind of looks older than a teen. Does. And then you think Goku is this little boy, but I think he's actually 13 or
13
14.
or 14. So you thought he was like 10
Right.
or 8 or something.
But mentally, he might as well be.
Right.
Because he doesn't know anything.
Right.
And then we learn about the tail and what significance that has in here.
Yeah.
And then the connection with the original lore, the Monkey King lore.
Right. We learned that the biggest inspiration was Monkey King, which is something that's been retold and reimagined time and time and time again all across the world now. But this one, Dragon Ball, seems to be the biggest success in reimagining that story. And what's funny is that one, we did get the references to Monkey King as we learned more about the original story. But another thing is that we saw that Goku's form and his tail inspired many different versions and adaptations later.
Yes.
Even to a failed pilot like Eddie the Realms Eternal with the sentient tail.
Yes.
And then one big one, because it was 10 years before it, is that Goku could actually fly with his tail at one point. And he said,
Tails.
"This is Tails." So, like, oh my gosh. And they actually had Yamchen's little sidekick, this little flying blue rabbit thing. It's a shapeshifter, and it can change forms. I forgot its name,
I know the
unfortunately.
pig is Oolong.
Yeah,
But you're talking
and there's a
about
little-
the one with the little hat.
Yeah, it looks like a sort of rabbit cat thing, and it transforms. And that's his little sidekick, I think. And sometimes it can take the form of a monster, an animal, a human, someone to look like
Puar.
Puar, thank
Puar.
you. And they actually had one point later in the series where he turns into, and everything's blue just about, unless he can choose to change color. He turns into a hedgehog. And we were just looking like, are you telling me this was the spark for it? And then they
Yeah.
come with the other stuff later. We were just like, and we looked, it was in, I think that the anime came out in 86.
86
And then
to
the-
89.
Right, and the manga was out even before then, so early 80s. And we were just looking like, oh gosh, they inspire everything on the planet,
Yes.
including Sonic.
Yes. So the next arc was the World Martial Arts Tournament
Yes,
and Saga.
right.
And you had Master Roshi here pretending to be Jackie Chun, which was hilarious.
Yes.
And Goku, we were like, oh, well, he's going to win. But he made it clear that if he just won and he beat him, he wouldn't learn anything.
Right.
So
which was different.
He didn't. But Krillin, and what do they call him in the anime?
Is Curran?
Yeah. Became his training partner and rival, but became best friends.
Yes.
And none of these people was smart enough to know Master Roshi was Jackie Chun.
No.
It was like Team Rocket
yes,
and Ash.
They had a few that suspected it, but I guess he made her trick them well enough, like, oh, I guess I was wrong. And it's like, no, he super glued that beer to make sure you didn't know.
And that one kind of took up a lot of episodes.
Yeah,
and it
a
had
lot.
quite a few anime only or filler episodes as well.
Yeah, especially when they took breaks in between the tournament. I
Right.
guess some cool down episodes in between the fights, because they started getting more quick and aggressive as the show went forward.
And then after that, we had the Red Ribbon Army Saga.
Yes.
And that one became a little more serious
Yeah.
and a little more violent.
Right, because all they cared about is getting the Dragon Balls so the guy can make his wish.
Right.
And they kept in the surprise where you didn't know what he wanted for, and you're assuming world domination until he actually tells one of his henchmen what he's after, and they're like, "You people are dying and risking their lives with Dragon Balls because you want to be taller?"
Well, think about Bulma. She was using it to look younger, to make her butt look like that of a girl 20 years
Right,
younger.
and then the dragon's like,
and
"What?"
so that she didn't have crow's feet. She was just as crazy.
And the dragon looks at them like, "That's what you want?"
And you can't say they're American because they weren't.
Nope.
But it got really crazy with the Red Ribbon Army mercenary Tao.
Yes.
And he also met the hermit Korin, who was easily beaten.
Right.
And then they went to fortune teller Baba. And
Yes.
then didn't they meet, what is his name? Jorobi?
Yeah, I think
Jai
they-
Jorobi or something like that. he is Muscle Man. He is the original Muscle Man.
Yes. When you listen to him and how he speaks, it's how Muscle Man sounds. All he's
and
missing,
looks.
Yes. All he knows he's not green.
Yes.
And then you know who else? It knows the reference from Dragon Ball. My mom!
And we were just like, oh my gosh, that's decades and decades later.
Yes.
Still inspiring people to create characters and fun. And so Baba Upa, he met Upa.
Yeah.
And then his dad, unfortunately, was killed by the Red Ribbon Army. And Goku wanted the balls to resurrect him.
Right. And he kept his word the entire time. And they became friends for life.
And then he set out on his own to train for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had some more filler episodes.
Yes. And they were done to show, actually, I guess, what they were up to during that 3-year time skip. Because in the manga, it goes immediately to the time skip and picks up where they left off. But the anime decides to show you some of the characters training, getting stronger, having one-off adventures, and then they do a time skip. But so I guess that you got an idea of more what they were doing all the time rather than them telling you.
Right. Then we had the King Piccolo saga.
Yes.
Where they reunited for the World Martial Arts Tournament 3 years later after his training. They met Master Roshi's rival and Tao's brother, Master Shin, who's crazy. And then his students Tien, Shinhan, and Chaozu.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this one was probably the second most violent next to the Red Ribbon one. Because this original King Piccolo just didn't care what happened to her, just as long as he could rule it, and he took over and no one stood in his way. He was blowing up cities and towns and buildings left and right, and people were in terror, and he became public enemy number 1, and everyone was too afraid to challenge him. But Goku doesn't face him in here, and it goes on a little longer. You can tell that they lengthen the battles, especially, and there's a lot of points in here where the characters are charging up energy to fight and deliver bigger blows. And now we understand why in the 2010s, 2000s, we weren't watching any of this stuff then when people were doing the long and it'll go on for 10 minutes straight, and we were thinking, well, what are they doing? And now we know the anime really did do this. They would take 10 minutes to charge up and just keep going, and they're finally ready. It's like, I think the episode's half over.
Yes. So at the end of this saga, Goku arrives to save Tien, and he kills King Piccolo by blasting a hole through his chest, and then we get to meet your favorite character, Piccolo Jr.
Yes.
The Piccolo Jr. saga.
And then they kept calling him, just Junior. And you're like, you're not. Like, that's just, this is the deadliest thing in life. What's his name, Junior? They said, you can't call him that anymore.
And I forgot to mention that he had destroyed the DragonBall's.
Yes,
and
for
so
a while.
In this saga, Korin told Goku that Kami, the creator of the DragonBall's, might be able to restore Shinron and the DragonBall's.
Yes, and that ended up getting a bit of a focus in here too, with the Namekins and some other groups for these characters that you saw in the manga.
Yeah.
And they already had a bit of screen time in the manga, but they got more expanded in here, and other characters' families or towns got expanded. Like you have to go into Penguin Town and different countries, small nations and cities, so you got to see a little bit more of this world that you didn't get a chance to in the manga. So I can see a little more of why they were having more one-off adventures. Whether you like them or not, they did help you feel more of this world outside of just seeing Goku in the main cast.
Right. So Piccolo enters the tournament, so that it was again the World Martial Arts Tournament, and he entered to avenge his father, Star Wars. So he borrowed from George Lucas, and then Goku narrowly beats him, and then they have the anime only portions of Goku and Chi-Chi getting married.
Yes.
And you forgot to mention she was here as a teen.
Yes.
And when Goku showed up, nobody recognized him.
Nope.
And he was like, guys, you don't know me. And they took the hood off, and they were like, just speechless.
Yeah.
And then it turned on him when she showed up, and she's like, "You don't know who I am?"
Like, no,
and she wouldn't tell him.
And he's like, how am I supposed to know?
Right. Just tell me who you are. Well, if you beat me, then I'll tell you.
And then he beat her.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, I did promise that. Okay, then I'll marry you. And she's just still like, really? Yeah, I promise I'm going to keep my word. Okay, I forfeit. It's like, that was fast.
And then within here, we saw a lot of the inspiration for JJK Jujutsu Kaisen, including when we've got Piccolo, the dad, created Piccolo Jr., but instead of swallowing the balls, he spit them out.
And it was like, ugh.
And Gato ingested them. But that's where he got it from.
Yeah, it was just reversed.
Yeah. But you can see just from this anime how many people were inspired. If they've never even read the manga, but they just watched the anime or vice versa, there was just so much inspiration and decades and decades and decades of not just animes, but Western animated series have just been inspired by Toriyama Sensei. And it's why you can understand now that we have gotten into Dragon Ball. It is so beloved. We wished again we had started while he was still alive.
Yeah.
And wish that his passing hadn't been the catalyst for me picking up the first volumes in the library. But I'm really just grateful we have gotten into it. Yeah. And for those that don't care for it, it's okay.
Yeah.
You've got so many people that love it. It's going to be a heck of a long time before Dragon Ball disappears.
Yeah.
You've got now so many anime that comes out and people watch them, they consume, and they're on to the next anime. But this is one you can't do that with. No matter when you watch it, whether when it originally aired, now or in between, it makes an impact and it's memorable. And you can see what it has been responsible for. Again, in not even dozens, hundreds of characters and shows.
Yes.
And it's just a gem.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you absolutely understand why the people who were with it from the beginning love it.
Yes.
So we are going to quickly go over the voice cast. Now, I can't, for whatever reason, find anything showing me who does what, so I'm just going to go through the names.
Right.
Some of them will know, like Christopher Sabat, of course, is Piccolo, and numerous other characters.
Yes.
And we're only going to do the English cast.
Right.
We have Greg Ayers.
Ow! Oh my gosh!
Yes.
You know it back then.
Christopher Sabat, Mike McFarlane, Eric Vale, Laura Bailey, Jason Lebrecht, Alexis Tipton, Amelie,
You definitely know her.
Monica Rial, Kyle Hebert, Elizabeth Maxwell,
Big names.
Felicia Angel, Cynthia Kranz, Johnny Young Bosch.
Yes, you're
later
like,
on. And this is later on, so I'm going to stop here. Also, Don Bennett.
That's a name, okay.
Because we're speaking of the English dub.
Right, only, yes.
Right. But there's just so many. If you guys want to give us a list and you know who voiced who and the entire cast and you feel like typing it out for us so we can pin it, let us know in the comments and do it. And we'll be happy to pin that so people will know.
Right.
So if you've seen the original Dragon Ball anime series, let us know in the comments. When did you watch it? When it originally aired? When it appeared on TV in the 2000s? Are you watching it on Crunchyroll now like we are? Let us know. If you haven't seen it, that's the only place we know it's available, that it's dubbed. If you know someplace else is available, share with us in the comments.
And if you don't know, subscribe for updates to Boogie Videos for anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Yes, and thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate everything you do and helping us on our journey to reach over 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. As always, you are special. And again, have an awesome birthday, Megatri Sky.
Yay!
And enjoy.
Yes. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.